Howdy folks, welcome back to the shop, or welcome to the shop I guess, since this is the first video on this channel. Got a bit of a project in here. I got my 1976 or 75, I can't recall off the top of my head, Massey 14 in here. Getting it ready. I'm going to move it down the line. I've had my fun with it, so it's time to get rid of it. I finally did paint the front and rear rims on it. I had left them dirty and oily and everything years ago when I refinished this tractor, with the intention of putting some mag tires on it and some V61s on the front, which I actually do have those tires. Oh, there's one there. You can kind of see. I'll take my word for it. But that never happened. The tractor's been sitting for quite a while. I was away for 5 years, I guess, so it hardly ran at all then. So a lot of sitting, haven't really used it. Brought it in the shop a little while ago. I got it running again. We had some issues. I had to replace the, well, I didn't replace it, I bypassed it, the neutral safety switch on it. I just put a temporary kind of bypass in it where whoever buys the tractor, they can fix it right themselves if they want to order the part. But I don't have time for that. It's not a big deal anyway. So, and like I said, I painted the rims up. I just finished putting a tube in that tire there. I pulled the tire off the rim, put a tube in it. There was none in it before. I was having problems with that one leaking. Yeah, they don't match, but it is what it is. This bezel piece was perfect. It was a reproduction, but I smashed into something and broke it last year. So I just took that off and glued it back together with a two-part epoxy. So I don't know, all in all it's pretty good right now. Just needs a little bit of tweaking and bath. The hood is the only thing, oops, is the only thing on this tractor that's not very good. Everything else I sandblasted on it and did a primer and paint and all that stuff. But one of the few parts on it that I didn't do that with was this hood, and I used electrolysis rust removal on this, and I don't know if it shows up in the camera or not, but you can see the rust is starting to come back through on it. So it would be really nice to sandblast this hood off, repaint it, put new decals on it and everything. It's a shame that it's doing that, but it's kind of the way she goes. Even under the stickers, I don't know if it'll show up in the camera at all, but you can feel it coming back. So, but anyway, that's not what today's project is about. What we're trying to focus on today here is some carburetor issues, and I'll just lift up the hood here. So, like I said, it's been sitting for a while, and I think that might be the problem, but I can't get it to idle right for the life of me. It did run and idle fine, but I had pulled the carburetor off of this machine to put on this 1650 just to make sure that one ran, because the carburetor that came out of that one was garbage. So I had robbed it off this one and the fuel pump as well to try and make it work. So anyway, I've put all that stuff back on, and I've tuned it back to where it was, or at least I thought I did, but it doesn't seem to be running at all. Well, running good at all. It idles, but it idles high, and you can't really give it any throttle. I've kind of got, like, the throttle linkage is a little bit bit sketchy, a little bit rigged, a little bit cobbled together. Honestly, I can't find half the pieces that are supposed to put that together correctly. So I've kind of been just winging it, but it should be running fine the way it's set up. I'm not sure what exactly the issue is with it. So anyway, I'll start it up here right quick, and you guys can see what's going on, and we'll kind of go from there. Good grief. Let me open that up a little bit more. I was messing with it and shut it off. Choke it. A little bit less choke. Anyways, yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty sure it's not running right. It won't take throttle, so I gotta figure out what exactly is going on. I've put it back to the stock specs. It doesn't want to run. I've bottomed it out, turned it little by little, and it doesn't seem to want to run. So I'm concerned that something is messed up inside of it, whether it's the level of the float, or whether the carb needs to be cleaned, or what. It does seem to be running a bit rich at times, and then I mess with it a bit more. It seems to be running lean. I actually had the exhaust glowing red on it a while ago, so something's not right. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that carb off of there, and I'm going to check the float level, and I'm probably just going to stick it in carb cleaner overnight. So let's get started with that. Alright, we got her off. It's nice on these Kohlers, you can leave the one bolt in, just loosen it off, and then you can slide the carburetor out, because as you can see, it's the holes are slotted on it. So we got it off here. Now we just got to pull it apart and have a look, see what's inside. There's the inside of the bowl. It's actually a little bit of something in there. So if it wasn't so dumb, I would have drained the gas out of this first, but it doesn't look like it's too far out of adjustment. That gasket's fine. I had put a carb kit in this years ago. It could actually go down a little bit. It's not really picking up on camera too well. I got the grid lines on the camera, at least when you look through it with the viewfinder, but it's up a little bit in the front, so I'll try to adjust that a little bit. We're still going to pull it apart though, and clean it out real good. That main jet doesn't look bad at all. So anyway, I'll try that. It might have been starving for fuel a little bit. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that float, but we'll check it just in case, other than adjusting it. So I'll get back to you in a minute. See, I adjusted that float a bit. You can kind of see there. It's this way. It's pretty much dead level now. This is upside down, obviously. But you can see the adjustment in there. If it would focus. Come on. Anyway. But that tab that moves with the float ball, that sits on that seat, that needle, you just want to bend that up or down to adjust the level up or down of the float. So I tweaked that a little bit, just with the pick, and now it's sitting pretty good. If you ever wanted to test if the float was functioning or not, you can blow in the gas inlet. When it's upside down, nothing will flow through it, but when you turn it right side up, there's no problem flowing. So that's how you can check that. I also noticed while I had it apart here, focus, this here appears to be bent. So I was having problems with it on the tractor. Once I idled it down so much, that was slipping past, and it was closing too much. Actually, it was going the other way. So I'll have to bend that and address that issue. And also I noticed this, a little bit of rust and junk inside there, so we definitely want to address that too. So I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to pull that out, or something, so we can fix it. I may or may not take all that stuff right out of there. It doesn't need to come out, so probably won't. I'll probably try to pull that jet out and see what else I can see, and we'll throw it in that part swash right there. Well, I may be asking for trouble, but I'm not going to disassemble it any farther than it is right now. The float is working okay on it, and I'm not worried about that, but we will just stick it in like so, I guess. I don't want to mess with it any more than I have to, because it was rebuilt not that long ago. There's the main jet I pulled out of it. It looks fine. You can't see any obvious clogs. There's your adjusters, which also look visually fine, but you never know. I'm going to see if I can pull the gasket off that one before I stick it in there. There's no other rubber gaskets or anything in the carburetor that I'm not doing. This is the main adjuster needle, which does have a little bit of grit on the end of it, so that might be causing us some issues. Alright, that carburetor's been sitting in here overnight. Let's just pull it out right quick and see what we got. Well guys, as you can see, I've got the carb cleaned up a little bit. It's still got some rust going on in there, but I don't think it's going to affect it much. I just stuck this bowl on. Well, I blew it out. I blew it all off. I blew the old paint off it. Kind of hit it with a wire brush a little bit. So it's looking pretty good, I think. Nothing really to complain about. So I think what we'll do is we'll start putting it back together. I might try and find something to clean this up a little bit with and then spray it down with maybe a clear coat or something, because typically when you just leave them, they end up kind of like this one, which you guys can see. Mind you, that one was in a little bit longer, I think, if I recall. That carburetor was junk anyway, so we'll see what we can do with it, and we'll put our jets and stuff back in and put it on the tractor and see how she runs. Well, it's back together. I opted not to spray it with anything, just leave it as is. Still see some rust in there, but it doesn't seem to affect it any. It's not loose or nothing like that. Usually I paint it with this stuff. If I had some clear coat, I might use it, but as you can see, it's better for chemicals and cleaning solvents and stuff. So it seems to hold up better on carburetors, but I don't have any clear with me, so we'll leave it as is and put it back on the tractor. Alright, I got my not so nice looking carb linkage on. Carburetor's ready to go, except for I forgot that little gasket there that goes in the bottom of the float ball. So I'm going to have to pull that off and put that back on. I don't need to remove the carb for that. There's not much fuel in it yet anyway, just whatever kind of flow or went through the lines or whatever. So I wasn't turning it over, so I hadn't pumped fuel into it yet, so it shouldn't be too bad. So I'll just change that right quick and we can fire it up. This is the moment of truth. Let's give her a shot. lean or whatever. No more backfires. It was backfiring through the carb, backfiring at the exhaust, flames at the exhaust. So she is ready to go. Despite the sketchy carburetor linkage, everything seems to be functioning fine. Choke is working fine. Throttle works fine, although instead of having this whole throw, it only got about half of it. But I need to get some parts to fix that. So, anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. That'll be the end of this little project for now, I guess. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.